Salute to everyone. Renee Box Young going live. I'm so excited. It's a real pleasure to go live with you guys, and whoever's gonna pop on live, or eventually, if you'll hear it after we go live on the channel. It's great. As you see in the thumbnail, we have a special guest, GFunky 84. That's what I'm talking about. We were talking about some time ago. Of going live. I was just brainstorming some stuff, and I remember mentioning it to him. Salute to Stormy B also, because I remember he was on the live with Stormy B. I was listening to GFunky. I was like, all right. I dig it. I like his approach, really sensible approach, real, logical, his knowledge in the sport of boxing, unbiased, you know what I'm saying? That's what I love about GFunky. And, had to invite him, and we've been chopping it up. And, I jumped in on one of his lives recently, and, I like it, man. I like his approach. I like the family there, the Latin American family up in here. That's what I'm talking about. And so it's great, man. It's an honor to have GFunky. How you doing, GFunky? You good?
I'm doing well, man. I'm coming to you live and direct from Northern California, 916 Sacktown. So I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. And also, shout out to Stormy B. You're right, man. Because if it wasn't for this show, man, who knows if this would happen or not.
Yeah, man, that's definitely shouts out to the OG Stormy B and the whole boxing community. Everyone who's going to eventually come on here live, come and join us. Just to let you guys know, just in case there are any, because, it happens sometimes, just in case there are any deficiencies with the internet or if anything cuts off, we'll be right back on as soon as possible. I try not to, the objective here is to be about an hour long, maybe. And so, not to take too long. So, but yeah, just in case, because those things happen. Isn't perfect. So yeah, man, let's get right to it. What we're going to talk about today, I want to talk about it, with GFunk, about Ryan Garcia and his future in boxing. Okay, first and foremost, I want to just outline this. As far as Ryan Garcia, we know that he has a lot of talent, he has a lot of potential, he has a lot of charisma, energy. He has the marketing aspect down as far as promoting himself, promoting his brand, right? As Ryan Garcia, as a fighter, as an athlete, as a boxer. He has the looks, he has it all, man. He has the whole package, but as far as boxing is concerned, it looks like there's a ways to go. That's why I want to talk about it a little bit. I want to talk about, Golden Boy Promotions. He's in Golden Boy. We know that, right? He's been in there in his pro career, he's coming up and coming. He's not a champ yet. I don't know if, I don't really try to keep up too much with belts. Those people who know my channel, maybe you guys wonder, why doesn't he ever say, why doesn't Renee Box Young ever say like, oh, WBA champion, former welterweight champion, WBA, IBF, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't do that. I honestly don't do that. I just go by their names. Because, sanctioning bodies nowadays, sometimes belts don't really always mean everything. You know what I'm saying? To me, in my perspective, skills say a lot. Skills and who they fight, you know what I'm saying? And what they bring to the ring, So that's mostly what I look at, and that's what my focus is as far as a fan of the sport of boxing. And so we know that Ryan Garcia, he's been in Golden Boy Promotions, right? His name is out there, been like that for a few years. And I want to start out with this. Okay, so let's start out with the promotional aspect. We have the company that he's in, Golden Boy Promotions, right? So GFunky, we know, right? We know that Ryan Garcia has Sierra F. Real quick, okay, I got to shouts out to those who are joining in. Sierra F. Salute Queen. What is good, man? What is good? Thank you so much for jumping in. We got GFunky also saluting the chat. Chicano Prophet, what is good, brother? It was nice to hear you there today. Nice to hear you on GFunky on this live, right? Wait, love you, man. All love. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much for being here, all right? Bruce Goes. What is good, man? Thank you so much for joining, guys. Remember to share. Remember to like. Go ahead and share this with your friends right now to join in and listen and tune in. So let's talk about the promotional aspect, all right? Golden Boy Promotions. Now, this is something I want to just like chime in there, okay, and say this, that, to start this topic out with in this aspect with Ryan Garcia's future in the sport of boxing. Okay, so he's in Golden Boy. We know that Ryan Garcia... Everybody knows. I mean, it's not necessary to explain the whole detail and break it down. Everybody knows. Social media, I mean, boxing channels also. I mean, they broke all this down. So I don't want to really get into too much details of that. As you guys know, my channel, I like to, you know, come at it in a different angle. We know that Ryan Garcia has been complaining, right, with Golden Boy recently. You know, the news with him not being satisfied with $200,000 or what have you. And then, you know, Oscar De La Hoya saying, you know what, step aside, kid. In other words, okay, I'm paraphrasing it. Oscar De La Hoya saying in Twitter, step aside, kid. We got somebody else. Virgil Ortiz, he's the next star. Okay, so we know that. I mean, you guys all know about that. So the reason why I say this is because I want to kind of break this down and go at this approach. Now, we know that in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, it was back in 2019, Ryan Garcia also, he had another complaint, right? It was something around, you know, replacing a fighter. I think his name was, you know, he was replaced with a fighter, Duno, something like that. And around that time, 2019, also Ryan Garcia complained also. So this is not Ryan Garcia's first time complaining. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at here. This is not the first time of Ryan Garcia complaining. And if you guys remember back in 2019, when Ryan Garcia started complaining about Golden Boy, about Oscar, about his opponent or what have you, we got to remember this, that Canelo, okay, if you guys remember, in Twitter, he retweeted one of Ryan Garcia's complaints. This was back in 2019. So this is not the first rodeo for Ryan Garcia in complaining, okay? So it kind of reminds me of Tank Davis. Remember Tank Davis for the past, you know, some time ago, he would also complain about Mayweather, saying that, you know what, Mayweather, you know, he's against me or whatever. And then Ryan Garcia recently, Tank Davis recently talked about even fighting Mayweather. You know, it kind of reminds me, kind of similar, right? These guys going against their promoters, their bosses. So the reason I say this all is because Ryan Garcia, this is not his first rodeo as far as complaining, you know, complaining about, you know, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions and how he's being led. So this is my question for you, GFunky. What do you think about this as far as Ryan Garcia's position? As a fighter, he's not a champ yet. And I want to reiterate this part when I talked about being a champ and, you know, with belts before when I started this. So he's not a champ yet. I mean, they can call him intermediate, or I don't even know these titles, man. So many East Coast, West Coast champion, whatever the heck they call it, right? But he does have like a couple belts on him, but it's not championship belts, I guess. So, but anyway, so he's not a champ yet. He's up and coming. What do you think about his position, GFunky, in Golden Boy Promotions? Do you think he's at a fair position? Do you think he deserves more as far as bigger fights? How do you see him going? You know, how do you see him right now in Golden Boy Promotions?
Well, I think what he was getting for this, what he was supposed to fight on July 4th, whatever he was getting was the 200,000. I think that's right where it should be at this point. I mean, who's he fought? Who's he been in there with? And who's he fighting? You know, like, I mean, at this point in his career, his biggest win is against the guy, Duno, who everyone said he was ducking, said he was afraid of. Now, he gets in there and gets this dude out of there in one round, spectacular fashion. I love that fight. I love the way he came in there and took care of business. His next fight is against Fonseca. Knocks him out in the first round. But this guy, I mean, come on, Fonseca's really nothing. You know, he's supposed to knock this dude out. So, I mean, unless you're starting to move up in competition, then, you know, what you get is what you get, man. Like, that's the way I look at it. I think too many guys in the sport are getting too much money for nothing. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like literally nothing, but I mean like they're still trying to build their career, and you know, you got to work your way up to these big paydays. Unless he's moving up to fight a Tank Davis, or you know, Teofimo Lopez, or Devin Haney, any of these dudes, these names, Lomachenko, any of these dudes in that division, then yeah, the pay is going to go up, obviously. But if you're just fighting some bum or some nobody who knows who this guy is, you know, or some dude who is a journeyman, then you know you're going to get what you get. But you know, the sport's not ran that way, man. They go off of other things other than performance. That's why I brought up the other day on when I was on D-Style's show, where I was like, you know, Ryan Garcia, where he's at right now in his career is almost like he's like on a rookie contract for like these other sports. When they come in, you're on a rookie contract. You're locked in with this team for so many years. Your pay is locked in. And you know what? Once that rookie contract is up and you show that you can earn more money, you've shown that you can be an all-star type player, whatever, or in this case, like a superstar in the making, you know, you earn more money. Is he a superstar in the making? That, I mean, I don't know. That's to be determined. You know, he's looked good so far against who he's been in there with. You know, he's good at building his brand on social media. He looks like he trains hard every time. You know, I don't question his dedication to the sport, but what I question is his mentality. Do you want to be famous or do you want to be great? You know, because there's a lot of guys that came in and they were just a flash in the pan. You know, they come in and they look good for a little bit, they get a few good wins, and that's it. But they're not considered all-time greats. So I do question where his mentality is right now, and I think that giving him this money could do some damage to him, man. But I hope not, because I really like what I see out of him. He's very talented, but you know, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with this kid, but I hope nothing but the best for him for sure.
Yeah, well said, man. Well said, pretty much. Now, 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 this is kind of my next question here, concerning what you're saying. I totally agree with what you're saying. This also, you know, I like to. Okay, in academia, I teach academia, right? I teach English language as English as a foreign language down here in Mexico. Okay, I've been doing it for a lot of years. Okay, and now the reason why I say this, you guys, maybe you guys are thinking like, what the heck does that have to do with this? Okay, and this is why, because what we do is one of our approaches. What we do is when we teach the language, when it comes to language teaching in general, one of the most effective ways in teaching is to be meaningful. What does meaningful mean? It means applying it in a personal perspective, applying it in your personal life. So this is what I like. You know, I love to do this. I like to relate what we're talking about and apply it in our lives. So, for example, just exactly what GFunky was saying and explaining that, you know, fighters, they have to, you know, you got to work your way up and you got to do the dirty work, you know what I'm saying, in order to be respected and to start making more money, you know what I mean? And that's how it is with life, and any work and any job that we're in. How are we going to get promoted? We got to put in the hard work, man. We can't just be given, okay, good looks can take us only so far. I mean, you know, just because you get into a job or in a company in whatever position it is, you have a nice resume, or maybe you don't have a resume, like a rookie, just like what D-Style said, rookie contracts and things like that. You know, in any aspect, any realm, any profession, good looks will take you just so far. It's not everything, depending on what it is. If it's modeling, okay, we get that, right? If it's a modeling career, okay. But when we're talking about general positions like manager or whatever, right? You know, mechanic, I don't know, whatever. Good looks will only get you so far. So, I mean, good looks, it helps, but I mean, we're talking about skills. We're talking about with the sport of boxing now, you know, fighting the best, you know, climbing up the ladder. Climbing up the ladder. I personally agree with GFunky, what he's saying as far as like with the $200,000 gig. I think that's right on, and he should have taken it. Ryan Garcia, he should have taken that, you know, that contract, and, you know, keep climbing up the ladder, keep getting your hands dirty, keep rolling up your sleeves, keep working like a man. He's not a kid anymore. He's a man. He's a young adult, even though he looks like a kid, right? He looks like a teenager, right? But he's a man now. It's time to, you know, buckle up your belt and then start to work, man. Work hard. Okay. That's why I love one of those phrases, you know, that phrase that legendary Floyd Mayweather, he says, right? Hard work, dedication, hard work, dedication. That's all he says, man. And he lives by it, you know. And just like what GFunky was saying a moment ago, that I mean, I don't I don't undermine his work ethic, but, you know, just a couple years of doing that, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, he's been doing it since the amateurs, yes, but in the pros, you know, I mean, you got to keep doing it. You got to be consistent. You got to climb up the ladder, you know what I mean? And I think personally, Ryan Garcia should have taken that $200,000. I mean, take it, man. And we got to also consider, you know, we're in a, you know, this whole epidemic stuff, you know, companies are down. They don't have all, you know, they have money, yes, but they don't want to just dish it out right now. A lot of customers, you know, as far as fans, clients are not just going to go out and buy tickets. You know, there are things that, you know, a lot of people are unemployed, et cetera, et cetera. So Ryan Garcia should have taken it, right? So now here's my next question, bro. Here's my next question, GFunky. Do you think, okay, this is something I have personally been thinking, okay? Okay, so Ryan Garcia, he's not happy. He complained before. He's complaining again. Do you think he's going to stay long in Golden Boy? What do you think about that, man? You think he's going to stay there long?
I think it all kind of depends on what he does with his career. Once they actually throw him in there with somebody like a veteran, like I was really hoping for that Linares fight. For me, that was kind of like the bar for him in a way, because Linares is a guy who's, he's kind of in the middle of the road of his career. And I wouldn't say he's at the tail end of his career, but he's getting there. If he's peaked a little bit, now he's kind of flatlined, and he could be going down real soon. But I think he's a guy who could have presented some good work for Ryan Garcia. So I would have wanted to see how he did against that kind of challenge. I hope soon, man, that fight happens, or somebody else on that kind of level. This way we could kind of see where he is and how good he actually is, because like I said earlier, we see the spectacular hand speed when he's hitting the mitts, when he's in the bag, and shadow boxing and things like that. And he's looked spectacular in his last 2 fights, but again, against guys who, weren't really tested themselves, and a guy like Duno, who, that was his biggest test at the time, was Ryan Garcia. And a guy like Fonseca was just a journeyman. So I want to see him in there with somebody. This way, I could get a better gauge on how far he will go in his career and what Golden Boy might end up doing with him. But, if they give him the Canelo treatment, he could be a star, man. I mean, he's already learned how to market himself pretty good. So, I think he'll probably stick it out with them, and they'll probably stick it out with him, depending on how he does in the ring. I think it all really depends on in the ring, because that's what really counts at the end of the day. All the Twitter followers and Instagram followers and all that's nice, but at the end of the day, it's what have you done in the ring, So it's all about his performance, man, and I really want to see. That's why I was just disappointed that he didn't take the fight with Linares like he was supposed to, man. Like they had said before the whole pandemic happened and the sport got shut down. So I'm hoping that they get him in there with somebody, because I want to see him tested for sure, man. And I want to see where he's at. And I think they want to see where he's at too, because they're investing their money in him. So they need to see for sure. And they've given him money. So, man, I hope that they do the right thing with it. And that's it, man. That's all I got on that one.
That's true. I personally think that, on this point that Ryan Garcia, yeah, I mean, I think Golden Boy Promotions, his team, they want that, right? It all depends what's his competition. I mean, they want to see what he can do. And I'm going to explain something right now. I'm going to show you guys what Eddie Reynoso said. I'm sure you guys have heard it before, but people who, okay, GFunky, Spanish? You're fluent in Spanish?
Not fluent, but I can understand some.
You understand it? Okay, I'm gonna read, because I want to read a quote directly in Spanish. Okay, from what according to what Reynoso said. Okay, and we'll translate it in English. And what GFunky is saying is exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. I personally don't approve of. I really haven't liked how Ryan Garcia runs his mouth off too much, just way too much. I understand he's confident, yes. I mean, but he's just running it off too much. You can see a big distinction with him as far as running his mouth off so much, and other champions in that division. Well, we got Teofimo Lopez, we got Devin Haney. Yes, they run their mouths, yes, but they prove it in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Ryan Garcia doesn't prove it, but you can just see the skills on another level with these fighters. Tank Davis, I mean, Lomachenko, I mean, even though he's controversial, yes, but I mean, that guy got skills, man. He's an amazing fighter. So I mean, we can't negate that. Gary Russell, you got Leo Santa Cruz. Yes, they're in other divisions, yes, but my point is, you got amazing champions, and they back up what they say, and they fight competition. They fight hard competition. You know what I'm saying? And Ryan Garcia, I haven't liked how he just runs his mouth off so much, calling out the best out there. And his team is thinking the whole contrary. I mean, his own team is saying it. Let me get to this. Hold on. Eddie Reynoso. Here we go. This is what Eddie Reynoso said. This is in Spanish. Okay. I'll leave the links in the description after the live, this is what he said. Okay. It says, this is in an interview with ESPN KO. Okay. He said, "No le hemos ganado a ningún campeón mundial." Okay, so what he's saying is like what GFunky is saying. He said, Eddie Reynoso is saying, you know what? Ryan Garcia hasn't fought a world champion. He hasn't won a world champion. And then he continues to say, "Tiene el talento para escribir, tiene mucho carisma, tiene mucha habilidad para aprender." Okay, so he's saying that he has a lot of charisma, he has a lot of ability, eagerness to learn and to grow, right? And then he says here, this is what Eddie Reynoso is saying, man. I'm just reading it directly. It says, "Le falta aprender más." So he's saying that exactly what GFunky is saying. So his own trainer, Eddie Reynoso, right? Ryan Garcia's own trainer, saying, he has to learn a lot. a lot. We're not talking about a little bit. Okay, so his own trainer is saying, you know what, Ryan Garcia has to learn a lot. Okay, and he continues to say, le falta afrontar a rivales que le den más batalla. Exactly what GFunky is saying also. You know, he has to fight rivals that'll give him war. Check that out. That'll give him a hard time, right? He continues to say, que le den más para aprender, that give him more to learn. You know, Ryan Garcia has a lot more learning experiences to grow on, you know, in the ring. So, and he continues to say, no porque no le puede ganarle a cualquiera. Pero para llegar con más posibilidades, okay? He continues to say, creo que le falta más experiencia. He needs more experience. Y vamos a ver si este año se puede hacer, okay? So that's what his own trainer is saying, that he's not ready yet. In other words, do you remember this? This just came to mind right now. Do you remember GFunky? Do you remember this? I think this was like 2 years ago. I don't remember. Time goes by so fast, but you know, a couple months seems like you know, for me a year seems like a couple months, but I think this was a couple years ago. It was after a fight. I don't remember what fight or event. Oscar De La Hoya was approached by a media, some channel, whatever, and they asked, hey, Oscar De La Hoya, so you know, Ryan Garcia, is you ready for Tank Davis? Oscar De La Hoya said in his own words, I'm paraphrasing, but he says, oh, no. I mean, that was his first response. Oh, no. Tank Davis is a beast. Ryan ain't ready for that. So do you agree? Did you hear that, GFunky? That was a while ago. It was a quick interview. Do you remember that interview? It was fast.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was like a couple years ago. And then recently, though, you know, Oscar De La Hoya kind of flipped the script and saying, oh, no, now he's ready for the best. Now he's ready for, you know, but the reason why I say all this is, you know, it's just to bring to light what GFunky was saying, that exactly. And I was really disappointed, man, and not being able to see this Linares fight, right? Linares against Ryan Garcia, man, that really disappointed me, because that was a real step up to Ryan's game. That was a real step up and a challenge to really see Linares knock down Lomachenko, man. So he has the power. You know what I'm saying? He has the power. And I don't know. Okay, real quick. Do you think, GFunky, Ryan Garcia can take a power shot from Linares like that? You think he has a chin?
That's a good question. There's so much to be determined with this kid still, you know, like, you know, just like his own trainer said, you know, we got it. The thing is this, the only way we'll know is if he gets in there with somebody, you know, he can look as good as he wants against the Dunos and the Fonsecas and on the internet. But, when you get in the ring and you're in there with someone that knows what they're doing and knows how to land that punch, when you don't expect it, like someone like a Linares can do, you know, that's when we'll see. We'll find out. You know, but he's got to get out there. He's got to get in there so we can find out, man. Because I'm honestly, I'm just sick and tired of waiting on it. You know, like, I really want to know where this kid is at. And it's just frustrating, man, that he just decided to take the money instead of the fight. You know, that's disappointing.
And also, he was there was, you know, you saw it, Twitter wars, his little Twitter wars going back and forth. Mares. Yeah, he was also in the talks of fighting Mares. I remember even a recent Twitter, right, not too long ago, Ryan Garcia was saying something like, oh, you know, the fight's on, or I don't even remember what words he used, but, you know, he was along the lines of him going to fight Abner Mares too. I personally think Abner Mares is out of his prime, or I don't think, you know, Abner Mares should even be back in boxing. I personally think that he should retire, in my personal opinion. All respects to Abner Mares, though. I mean, he's a fighter, man. He's a fighter. But, you know, I think his boxing career is over with. He should just stick to commentating. I love how he commentates at PBC. Reason why I say all this is because Abner Mares being an opponent for Ryan, I don't even think that would have been a real test. Maybe it would have been, but, you know, I mean, if you just go back to one of Abner Mares back in 2015, I think it's 215, something like that. He's not even fast anymore in the ring, man. He's not fast as he was before. I don't even think Abner Mares would have been. It had Ryan Garcia fought Abner Mares. I don't even think that would have brought him up, you know, in the totem pole as far as Ryan Garcia proving something in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Abner Mares. I think more Linares would have been. It would have been great. You know what I mean? But would have, could have, should have. I mean, that's the past. Right? It hasn't happened. So that's the sad thing. Let's see what Chicano Prophet has to say here in the chat. He says, Garcia loses momentum with all the months. Exactly. He waits to get back in the ring. Totally agree, Chicano Prophet, especially when he's fighting nobodies. Exactly. Especially when he's fighting nobodies. And, I personally, I think that, he's definitely losing momentum. He should have taken that fight. $200,000, man. Just take it, fight, and get over with, man, and keep growing, stepping up the ladder, bro. I mean, keep climbing up the ladder, and he is losing momentum. The only thing that's, okay, well, check it out. The only thing that's really keeping him relevant is social media, man. I mean, this whole show. But you know what? These things get old. You know what I'm saying? These things get kind of old with real boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? Maybe with the casuals, it works. Maybe with these young girls that want to be his girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? It works. But as far as real, we're going to be speaking out. New media is speaking out. There are a lot of channels that are speaking out on this. Eventually, it's going to get to them. They're going to have to do something. They have to do something. Social media is not going to fight for you, Ryan, in the ring, bro. All the respect, love you, bro. But social media, your Twitter followers, Instagram followers, they ain't going to fight for you. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely. Let's get to the chat real fast before we get to the next topic, because I got another point about Ryan Garcia here. So, yeah, right at Chicano Prophet, definitely. Lion Ryan. D-Style Boxing calls Ryan Lion Ryan. Wow. All right. Chicano Prophet continues to say, I've noticed when Canelo/Garcia fights don't get made or canceled, Oscar takes the heat. I wonder if the fighter/promoter beef is by design. I don't know, man. Oscar takes the heat and the fighter keeps the shine. I don't know if that's by design, bro. I personally wouldn't think. I think this is real. I don't know, man. I think it's legitimate complaints, I guess. Right now, this is something I wanted to, before we continue in the chat here. So I want to stop right here and get to kind of another point here about Ryan Garcia. He's we mentioned it a moment ago. He has Eddie Reynoso as his trainer. Okay. We know that in Eddie Reynoso's stable, obviously Canelo, obviously, right? We got Oscar Valdez also. Okay. Recently, if I'm not mistaken, Andy Ruiz is also going to be working with Eddie Reynoso. Okay. So there's a lot of amazing talent in Eddie Reynoso's stable. Okay. A lot of people sleep on Oscar Valdez, man. I love that kid, man. He's an amazing fighter, man. That, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, D-Style. This was a while ago. Oscar Valdez, he's the one that got his jaw broken in the fight, right?
Yeah, I think that was the fight with Scott Quigg. He got his jaw broke. But I agree with you, man. I like Valdez too as a fighter. I think he's a real good talent, and there's a lot of good fighters down there in that camp now with the Reynosos and with Canelo and Ruiz, Garcia, and Valdez. But again, the only guy who's really been successful out of that camp has been Canelo so far. And I say so far because, again, a lot of these guys, they haven't been out there yet. I mean, Valdez is, again, kind of borderline, I guess.
Yeah.
We want to see him against Burchell for sure, man. I think that would be a fantastic fight. But the jury is still a little out on Reynoso himself, because, Canelo, we know, not to turn this into a Canelo talk, but we know how Canelo built his name in Mexico and here. So, we need to see more out of him before I become a real believer in that camp down there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I have to give credit to Eddie Reynoso in that sense that, and that does intertwine. You're not really getting off the topic, because that's kind of what I want to talk about to a certain extent, because it does relate to Ryan. You know what I'm saying? The way Canelo was brought up and the way he has been trained, the way he has been, I guess you can say, maneuvered, in Golden Boy Promotions. And Oscar, we got to understand, man, Oscar, he has a lot of years in the fighting industry, apart from being a promoter, right? Apart from being a promoter in the sport of boxing as a pro boxer, right? He knows the ins and outs of the sport. And now as promoter, he guided Canelo throughout all these years in the sport of boxing, maneuvered him the right way, I guess you can say, to success, right? Giving him the right opponents to fight. Oh, quick example. Oscar De La Hoya fought Cesar Chavez. Correct me if I'm wrong, GFunky, but Cesar Chavez was out of his prime when he fought Oscar De La Hoya. He was out of his prime. And now, Canelo, he has fought several out of the prime, big names out of the prime. to catapult their name even more. You know, I'm not really for that. I don't dig that. You know what I mean? Mexican legends have criticized that. Even Andre, even okay, Demetrius Andrade even said that. You know, you got so many people who came out to light saying these things that, you know, yeah, I mean, giving him respect, obviously, Canelo, all due respect, you know what I'm saying? But big criticism in the aspect of, you know what, he has fought quite a few. Triple G, okay, look at this, man. I don't want to get too much in the Canelo talk, but it's important. It's important to say this because it connects to Ryan Garcia, and I'm going to say why in a moment. Okay, so I mean, even Triple G, my first video, I think it was my first video on this channel years ago, man. I said that I titled it Triple G, the King for Long. I said that because a couple years I saw Triple G. He was already going out at his prime. He was already going. And then when he fought Canelo, okay, it was a tie, whatever, it was a draw, right? And then before the rematch, I was like, you know what, Canelo's going to take him out. He's going to outbox him. Definitely did that because Triple G's out of his prime. He was out of his prime for a while. Triple G, okay, he was slow. He had less power when he fought Canelo. You know what I'm saying? It can be debatable, but I got to stick to my guns on that one because Triple G, man, he's over with. I mean, from my personal opinion, right? But I don't want to get too much in that point. But the reason why I say all this is because, you know, Oscar De La Hoya also, you know, he has that, you know, he was known for that, right? He fought Cesar Chavez Sr., amazing legend, one of my favorites, man. I love him, man. You know, fought him, you know, got risen up even more in status. Canelo the same. Now, the reason why I say all this, it relates definitely because Ryan Garcia is in Golden Boy Promotions. You know, Oscar De La Hoya is the brain of Golden Boy Promotions, and he knows how to bring up his fighters. So he did the same with Canelo. Canelo's a superstar now. Do you think? Okay, that's my next question, bro. Do you think GFunky Ryan will be brought up like that? Will he be protected from the Lions? I mean, I got to say it how it is. Will he be protected from the real champs, the real warriors, man, right now in the division? Do you think he's going to be protected? Because I personally think he is. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I think he's going to be protected. I think he's going to be maneuvered in that way and brought up to star status. I mean, in that way, not fighting the best, not fighting the top. But what do you think, man? What do you think, GFunky?
I think that's definitely the blueprint that they have set up for him. I mean, which isn't bad because you know, I know quite a few guys in my personal life that were professional fighters, and you know, that's just the way it happens. You know, their promoters are gonna look out for them early on, and you know, and protect the investment. But at the same time, you know, Ryan's at the point in his career now. He's getting into, you know, he's already got 20 fights, not 21 fights. I'm not sure what it is, but it's, you know, he's getting there. He's getting there to the point now where it's like, okay, something's got to happen. You know, you gotta be in there with somebody that's an actual threat at this point. You know, with Oscar, you know, he was in there with some threats kind of early in his career. The Gabriel Ruelas was a Rafael. I mean, those were brothers back then. I can't remember which one it was, but you know, at the time, Oscar was still very, very young, still kind of untested at the time, and Rose was a dangerous guy. You know, he had power. The problem was he just didn't have a good chin. So once Oscar landed on him, you know, it was over. But you know, the thing is with the similarities between Oscar and Ryan is, I think, really at this point right now, the things that are similar is, again, they both got good left hooks, both have speed. You know, I just think that overall Oscar was a better boxer at this point than Ryan, and that's because, you know, Oscar he's a gold medalist, man. He's been in there. He has a great amateur career. You know, when you have an amateur career like that, you know, you see many styles, you see many fighters, and that gets you prepared for the pros. So, you know, I understand why they've been building him so slowly, but right now, for a hardcore fan like myself, and I think most hardcore fans will agree with me that right around that 20 fight mark is like, okay, if you haven't been in there with a threat yet, it's time. You know, it's time for you to get in there with somebody that's going to test you. And we missed out on and he missed out on the opportunity, as well as us, because we the fight fans, we wanted to know. We wanted to see. And I see Chicano Prophet, and I don't want to get into Canelo talk, but you got to be careful, Renee, with these guys, all right? Be careful when you talk Canelo, man. I'm just going to warn you.
Oh no, I'm definitely careful, and no, but it connects. That's why I say,
Mm-hmm.
but it connects. It relates. We can't just talk about one fighter and ignore, the other fighters in the same promotional company that are being brought up in the same fashion. You know what I'm saying, or a potential fashion as Ryan Garcia we brought up. So it relates. But all love, Chicano. I feel you. I feel you. It's all good. GFunky here saying, "Crying Lion Ryan." Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got that. Oh, D Style, what is he saying? By the way, I'm winning the poll, GFunky. All right. All right. I'm winning the poll. He's I think D Style's talking about the poll of the movies, right? The movie lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, D Style also clarifying there that Oscar beat Hernandez. All right. Oscar beat Hernandez. All right.
Yeah,
So
that was
now
a good win. Yeah.
And you're definitely right, man. You're definitely right. Oscar, amazing skills. I mean, as a boxer, he was a warrior, man, a warrior, and I loved it. I loved him. His fighting in the ring, aggressive. I mean, just his jab. I mean, powerful, man. A great fighter. So,
You know what
alrighty. So
else?
now,
Not to interrupt you,
yeah.
but you know
Go, go, go.
one thing that people forget about Oscar too. That dude could take a punch, man. Man, he had a chin. I can't remember many times him being down or being completely knocked out, stopped by anybody. And he went all the way up to 160. I mean, Hopkins got him with the body shot. That's the only time he's ever been knocked out when he was in his prime. And they stopped the fight against Manny Pacquiao in his last fight. But man, that dude had a solid chin. I remember that's the first and second fight that he had with Shane Mosley. My gosh, Mosley was landing some hard flush right hands on him. I was surprised Oscar stood up under those things, but man, he is a tough son of a bitch, man. And he was a hell of a fighter, man. I think Oscar is one of the best fighters I've ever seen, man. And in my close to 30 years of watching boxing now, man, he's one of the best I've ever seen.
Definitely, man. Chin, definitely, yes. And I have been watching, as far as Mexican legends are concerned. Like I was watching, watching Cesar Chavez Sr. against Taylor. Taylor, his the first fight and the rematch. Man, those chins! I tell you what, man. Oh my gosh! And this kind of ties into what, I want to talk about other things. Okay. One of them primarily is Ryan Garcia, but I want to talk about the division right now and the competition that's in the division and what potential fights we can see and what potential outcomes we can see and stuff like that. But real quick, before we top out, before we conclude Ryan, but we're going to still talk a little bit about him. Do you think Ryan Garcia, okay, as far as, I mean, there's so much, I mean, and the division, okay, I got it right here. I got the rankings. Okay. So lightweight 135. Okay, so we have Javier Fortuna, okay, number one, and the lightweight number one contender Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia. Who do you think would be best to fight next, GFunky, right now?
For Ryan,
Yeah,
man. I mean, I think this, man. From what I've seen from him and what he's done in his last couple fights,
who should he fight?
I think he's ready. I think he could. If they wanted to, I think they could put him in there with anybody, and I think he could compete with any of these guys. I mean, a lot of these guys are young guys. I mean, Javier Fortuna's, I think Ryan could beat him. I mean, he's kind of a rough, rugged guy. Luke Campbell, I mean, he's okay in my opinion. He's just all right.
Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. But I think, man, I think he can compete with any of these dudes. I'm not saying he could beat them,
right.
But it's, these are competitive fights, all of them. 135 is stacked, man. I'm real excited about that division. There's a lot of young talent there, and Garcia is one of them, man. If they could just get this guy in there with somebody already, I mean, the guy out of all the young guys, Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Lopez to me is out of all those young dudes. To me, Teofimo Lopez is the best out of all of them, man. And we've seen him in there with a legitimate threat in Richard Comey, and he knocked the dude out in 2 rounds. So for me, he's the future of the division. I know he's got a fight with Lomachenko coming up. Man, I can't wait to see that one.
That's in September, right?
I believe so, and I'm real pumped up for that one, man. But I think that he's the guy right now. Lomachenko to me is kind of fading. That doesn't mean he can't beat Lopez. Doesn't mean he can't pull another performance out of the hat. But I really like Teofimo Lopez out of that division. I think he's man, that dude has got some serious power in that right hand, man. You got to look out for him, and he's super quick too.
Definitely, man. And I personally think I don't think Ryan Garcia is ready. And I guess I'll conclude the show with that question if I remember here. I'm writing down the notes here as we go on. But as far as Cesar Chavez fighting Taylor, what I mentioned a moment ago. But I would rather conclude the show with that question. Yeah, we'll just wait. So yeah, Teofimo. Okay, I think personally that Ryan Garcia is not ready for Teofimo. I don't think he's ready because he's not. I don't think he's ready for him. But okay, yeah, Teofimo definitely. We have him, and he's 135. These guys are 135. So we have also Robert Easter in the list here. Jorge Linares, obviously. So yeah, I mean, we got amazing talent here. Yeah, Luke Campbell. I agree. I don't think Luke Campbell would be a really attractive name, I guess, that Ryan Garcia can fight next. Do you think GFunky that Ryan Garcia will move up anytime soon? Wait.
That's a good question, man, because there's a lot of smoke there.
There's more, even more, huh? Even in if he moved up, wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's smoke there too. I mean, that division is stacked also. Man, I forgot all about a guy like a Robert Easter, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Robert Easter. I mean,
I think out of all those guys, probably the three that they would probably throw him in to test him would be obviously Linares, because he's a Golden Boy fighter also. But if not him, Robert Easter, or even a Luke Campbell, I think those guys can be considered a threat, but not too serious of a threat, to kind of test the waters.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get impatient, man. I really am. And I like the kid. I like what I see from the kid, man. But it's just a matter of him doing it. Like I'm not one of these guys that's just like, well, he's gonna beat this guy anyway. We don't need to fight him. Who's he? Who's he fought? Or what does he bring to the table? Just get in there and beat him. Then that's what I say. So whoever it is, man, I think out of those three, I think he can beat any of those three guys. But man, I mean, to me, Teofimo was the guy, man, and Lomachenko right now. Even at Tank Davis, I'll be honest, man. I think it wouldn't be that big of a risk to put him in there with a Tank Davis right now. And here's why I say that.
Ooh.
When I look at Tank Davis, I see the same thing I see in Ryan Garcia, a guy who's got tremendous skills, good speed, good power, but he's just very inconsistent, man. I remember, I'll share a quick story here. I remember when he fought on the undercard of the McGregor-Mayweather fight. I had a packed house, man. I had so many people at my place to watch that fight. Everybody was interested in that fight. So when I seen that Tank Davis was on there, I was telling everybody, I was like, man, hey, watch this fight right here. I know a lot of people aren't interested in this fight, but watch this fight. Watch this kid. He's really good, man. Very talented. This guy could be, the future of the sport, man, from what I've seen from him, And he just, man, he laid an egg. I mean, he got the win, but man, it was ugly. I mean, it's just too many, for me, it's just too many performances like that where it looks like he should go in there and dominate the dude, and he just doesn't. Like, even with the Gamboa fight. Yeah, he beat him, but Gamboa busted his ankle in the fight. And he still went 12 rounds with the dude. I don't think it went the distance, but he made it in the 12th round, I think. So, like, for me, like, that, to me, that's the one right there that said it for me. I was like, okay, Gamboa is a guy who's, he's still got hand speed, still got a little bit of power, but he's very hittable, kind of chinny. So I'm thinking to myself, going into the fight, David's going to get him out of there at some point. Mid-round, 6, 7, 8 rounds, something like that. That was a very disappointing performance for me. And, to me, again, he had trouble making weight for some of these fights. So he's very inconsistent, man. I would not, honestly, I wouldn't mind throwing him in there right now with a Tank Davis. I think he could beat him on any given night. I think it's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion.
Wow. I think personally that Tank Davis would hurt Ryan this year if they were to fight this year. But, I mean, it's in the air. It's in the air. I mean, it's up in the air. But, yeah, that's a good thing you're talking about, because I posted a video some time ago called, I think the title was, Can Ryan Garcia Beat Tank Davis? Yeah, I questioned it and I broke it down exactly what you're talking about. The points I covered was that Ryan Garcia is very consistent. He's always like he calls himself a gym shark, and I agree, man. I mean, all you see, I don't think he's trying to deceive the media and just showing, with him, doing handwork, doing the boot shining, and when he's, constantly showing videos of him, in the gym and things like that. I don't think he's trying to show off show a mask. I mean, I think he really is about it. I think he's really constantly training all the time, constantly training. And the thing here, the big contrast, that's why I made that video, is that, Davis, on the contrary, partying. I mean, missing weight. I was honestly disappointed. I even made a video about it. I think it was a live. I think like that, something like that. That when Davis missed weight for the Gamboa fight, that just blew it for me, man. I was like, dude, Davis, you're just playing games, bro. I mean, this is pro status. This is professional, fighting. You know what I mean? You can't be missing weight so much time. And that, I think, watch this. If you go back to that fight, if I'm not mistaken, around halfway through the fight, it looked like Davis was kind of gassing out, man. It looks like he was getting tired. And I was like, dude, Davis, you're out of shape, bro. I mean, okay. I mean, that's what really, really disappointed me. Tank is one of my favorite fighters, man. Definitely. It's just that I agree with you that I think personally, if they were to fight this year, I don't think Ryan would win, but Ryan is catching up, as far as, his consistency, like you said. And, it can be dangerous. I personally think in 2021, if they fight, we don't know, right? It's just like you said, it's just, Ryan he has to step up in competition, man. He has to step up. But I think personally, if he fights Tank Davis, if Tank Davis keeps partying, if he keeps his mind, in that street life and that, other nonsense that's not going to help him, he's going to lose eventually, man. That's how I see Tank Davis's career, man. I mean, if another, a lot of people even call them Adrian Broner 2.0. If he continues like that, man, forget it, Tank. I'm sorry, man. I love him, but just potential being thrown away, you know what I mean? But he still has it. I personally think if they fight this year again, I don't know. I don't think Ryan will win, but consistency is key. And that's the next thing here, I think, personally. I think Ryan Garcia, if he continues doing what he's doing, I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to really, really, blow up, man. I think he's going to really, take out these opponents that if he steps up in competition, I think he'll take them out, man. I really think he does. Obviously, he has things to grow on. He has things to enhance as far as his talent and skills and craft. But that's why Eddie Reynoso is there, man. That's why he's there. Real quick. Okay, another question. That's not okay. I personally think, I don't know if Ryan Garcia is going to stay longer in Golden Boy. I don't think he's going to stay too much longer. I personally, I don't know why. I have a gut sense. I don't really depend on that or an instinct and things like that, intuition, right? But I kind of think, I don't know if Ryan Garcia is, because, Canelo, does Canelo have a promotion? It's Canelo Promotions, isn't it? Doesn't he have a promotion? I thought Canelo had a stable. Do you know about that?
No, I do not know.
Okay.
As far as I know, he's still a Golden Boy fighter, but
yeah, he's a Golden Boy fighter, definitely. Okay.
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why, but I thought I seen some time ago that Canelo Alvarez, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. I'm not going to say it is. But I thought I did because, down here in Mexico, I see some things sometimes from media. I think Canelo Alvarez has a stable of fighters, of young fighters. Okay. If that's the case, I really don't see Ryan Garcia too much longer in Golden Boy Promotions, man. With these conflicts he's having with Oscar, Ryan Garcia I think he has the potential, the talent, et cetera, to eventually leave Golden Boy soon and to make his own promotions. We got Devin Haney. He has his own promotional company, Devin Haney Promotions, and he has some kind of deal with the Zone. It's not a complete deal. It's not a total, 100% reliable with the Zone or what have you with Eddie Hearn, but Devin Haney has Devin Haney Promotions. I personally think that Ryan Garcia would do excellent with his own promotional company. Do you think G-Style? G-Style, G-Style, D-Style, mix your names up. GFunky, what do you think?
Yeah, that seems to be what a lot of guys do once they become, so big in the sport that they just don't need a promoter, I know a lot of us were thinking the same thing about Canelo, that, he doesn't need Golden Boy, he doesn't need Oscar because he's,
right.
He's already a big star, but he's still there, so something must be keeping him there. I'm not sure what it is.
The money.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but you know, he's there. You know, that's kind of what, you know, what Mayweather, you know, what he did in his career was, you know, he just kind of broke away, made his own thing, and started making crazy money.
Exactly.
So, you know, I mean, it's a possibility for someone like a Ryan Garcia because he's already, you know, pretty popular when it comes to social media. Now he just got to transfer that to the ring, you know, and if he can do that, then yeah, I see a great opportunity for him to go out and create his own banner and you know, make tons of money that way, you know. So that's a strong possibility for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of see that, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I see, but who knows, right? Nobody knows what's in Ryan Garcia's mind in the future. But I personally don't think he's going to spend too much time in Golden Boy Promotions, right? I don't know, right? But we'll see, right? We'll see what happens. Now, let's get on to some other things here. So we have, all right, so Lomachenko, right, is possibly going to fight. I say possibly, man, because, you know, nowadays in boxing, man, people say they're going to fight and, you know, something's canceled. Someone came up as a drug cheat, whatever, right? But Lomachenko, I mean, he's not known for that. But anyways, so if they fight, right, possibly Lomachenko, Teofimo, who do you think is going to win, man?
Man, right now, I'm going to make a prediction video on it. It's going to be on my channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's GFunky84 Boxing right here on YouTube. Yeah, the closer we get to that fight, and you know, if everything clears up with the pandemic, you know, I will definitely be doing a prediction video on that. But as of right now, man, looking at it, I'm edging it to Lopez right now, man. I think Lomachenko is slowing down. You know, he got the win against Luke Campbell, but to me, it wasn't very impressive. You know. So I think, man, right now he's ripe for the picking, and I think Teofimo's the guy to do it, man. I think he's fast enough. I think he's sharp enough. I think he's got the power to do it. I mean, if Linares could land a right hand on him and drop him on his ass, I would hate to see what happens if that right hand from Teofimo Lopez lands on Lomachenko's chin. I don't think he gets up. I mean, I'm just gonna say it right now, and that's, to me, that's a clear-cut thing, man. I think if Teofimo can land that clean right hand on Lomachenko, he goes down. But he's got to be able to land it, and he's got to be able to stay mentally in the game with a guy like Lomachenko, because he can frustrate you with the things that he does in there. So if he could stay focused the whole time, stick on the game plan, and don't let Lomachenko frustrate him, I think he's got a very good shot at beating Lomachenko.
I definitely agree. I'm definitely rooting for Teofimo Lopez. Definitely, you know, the takeover. I'm rooting for him 100%. I personally think that Lomachenko might be retiring soon. You know, I have sometimes some ideas, and I don't think they're far out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said. I personally think Lomachenko, you know, like slowing down. You know, his age. How old is he, man? How old is he? Like 34?
I think he's probably around my age, mid-30s, something like that.
You know, his amateur career also, if I'm not mistaken, he has an extensive amateur career. You know, wear and tear. He has a lot of wear and tear. You know, even though he's definitely skilled, and we cannot negate that. Obviously, but you know, I don't think he's going to be too much longer in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? As far as fighting, you know,
another thing with him too is that, I mean, he gets a lot of credit. You know, they call him the Matrix, and you know, it's deserved credit. Don't get me wrong. Lomachenko is a brilliant fighter. But he doesn't necessarily come out of fights clean. You know, I mean, just go back and look at some of the fights where he has dominated. I mean, he comes out, his face is all marked up, his eyes are swollen and things like that. Yeah. So it's not like he's not getting touched in there, man. And I think that Lomachenko's Lopez is a dangerous fight for Lomachenko.
He lost to Salido too. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was this thing came out real polemic or whatever the word is, controversial, I guess, or something. I don't know if you remember. I think it was on ESPN. You know, he was sitting there ringside or whatever. He was in the crowd watching a fight, and then they put him on the camera, and you know, on the bar and the banner down there, Lomachenko, and it said his record.
Yeah.
Oh my, that was a big no-no. Big no-no. Trying to protect this guy, making his image look, better than what it is. Like you said, I'm not discrediting him, but I personally think if he were to fight, one of these top guys, as far as in this division, I don't know if he like Teofimo Lopez. I don't think he's gonna make it with Teofimo, man. I just don't think he's gonna. But we'll see, right? We'll see. It's gonna be a great fight. So real quick, got to give a shouts out to Knockouts with Nika. Yeah, man, salute, sister. I hope you get better. She actually, I wanted to have her on, but she's kind of, has a migraine. She's right here. I'm just listening on very low right now. I still have a slight migraine. Recover, sister. One love. Go subscribe to her. She has great content too. Knockouts with Nika. Go check her out. Bro, GFunky, I guess, I kind of want to go to other topics, but the time is going by. Do you think, GFunky, let's kind of close it now. I just wanted to go for about an hour. Do you think the sport of boxing is going to get back to its glory days as far as, the best fighting the best? I don't want to be pessimistic. I am positive. I'm optimistic in the sport. I'm enjoying the sport. I'm enjoying the fights. And this comeback boxing, return of boxing on ESPN, top ranked fights. I'm enjoying them. I'm having fun, but it's been like this for years. The business of the sport, has taken over the business aspect. Floyd Money Mayweather, what I'm saying, he brought that to light a lot, in his career. A lot of these fighters want to follow that model, milking fights, promoters now, things like that, right? Do you think we'll ever get to the Oscar De La Hoya days, the Cesar Chavez Sr. days, Lennox Lewis, heavyweights fighting the best, Do you ever think we'll get back to that? Or do you think we'll get more to seeing that, incrementally? Or do you think it's just going to stay to this? And we're even getting down to the nonsense of, influencer boxing. Oh my gosh, I'm totally against that. Influencer boxing. For those who don't know, that's YouTube fighters now. It's like, dude, I personally think that's a really bad image. I think that there are no words. I have made several videos on that. And in those videos, I talk about how fighters, you got George Groves. He spoke out against this. Oscar De La Hoya spoke out against that YouTube fighting stuff. So do you think, the way the sport is going right now, do you think we'll eventually start seeing, more of these high-profile elite champions go at it more often? Do you think we'll ever see that, man, in the future?
No, I don't.
Oh man.
And it's very sad too, because we got a big fight that could possibly happen at 147 pounds between Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, and unfortunately that thing just doesn't look like it's ever going to happen, man. And it's terrible. I don't know, man. Ever since I've been on YouTube now for almost 10 years, I've said this over and over in my videos, man. Like, I just don't understand why so many fight fans want to protect the business side of the sport. Like, who gives a damn about that? We're the customers, man. We should be demanding the fights. We shouldn't be trying to protect guys just because we're fans of them. That's why I decided not to have a favorite fighter since I started my YouTube channel, because I want to talk boxing, but I don't want to talk about business and why my guy shouldn't fight this guy, or why does he have to fight this guy, or
the A side,
whatever.
the B side, the C side.
Oh, man, I don't care about that, man. I just don't. I just want to see. I want to know who's the best, man. I'm a very competitive guy. I played sports all through my youth into high school, and I like winning, and I want to see who can be the best. I want to see who's the best in the sport. Unfortunately, we don't ever get that too often. We had a few years back a tournament at 168 pounds where Andre Ward came out the winner. They had the world's, I don't know, was it the World Series boxing or something like that they just had recently with when Inoue fought Donaire. I can't remember the name of it, but it was kind of a little tournament. We need more of these things, man, in boxing, because it's just there's too many belts, too many question marks, too many fights not being made, and it just drives people away, man. Not to say that BS doesn't happen in other sports, on any of the four major sports, because it does. But man, boxing is just, man, it's something's got to change for sure, man. And unfortunately, I don't see it happening anytime soon because these guys, these promoters, I mean, they have too much money invested in it, and they don't want to lose that money. So they're going to do everything in their power to keep it rolling. And it sucks for us, man, because we have to wait things out and we have to watch terrible fights sometimes, showcase fights all the time. Like, I don't mind a showcase fight every now and then, as long as you give me something after. If you give me something after, I'm good with that. But most of the time, we don't get that. So, yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon, man, and it sucks. It really does.
You're totally right on that. I made a video some time ago. It was a quick clip I made. With that in mind, about too many belts, promoters are even complaining about it. This was a while ago. It's on my channel. Lou DiBella, you had and they were talking together. They were like in a conference room or whatever. And Lou DiBella, it was Bob Arum, also Eddie Hearn was there too. Not that I really like Eddie Hearn much, but I mean as a promoter, but whatever, right? They were talking about how there are too many belts. They were joking about it. They were even joking about how many belts. There are too many belts. Lou DiBella was joking about it. They were laughing about it. It's just too many belts. And I personally think the same. I kind of think to a certain extent that the belts are even a marketing strategy. You even had, recently, I mean, well, it's been for a while, but, WBC coming out with the Mayan belt, the Aztec belt or whatever. I mean, I understand it looks beautiful and all that, but, I understand, but, sometimes I think the more belts they make, they do it to attract more casuals. You know what I'm saying? With all these titles and because a lot of people look at it. Why? Because when they come out with a fight or an event, you have a fighter, a champion standing there with 100 belts, hanging off of his body. It looks attractive, I guess. And it looks like, oh, wow, this guy's untouchable. Whoa. Someone who doesn't know about it is going to probably pull more. I just kind of see it more as a marketing strategy. I respect the belts to a certain extent, but like you said, man, we don't really see the best fighting the best anymore, really. I'm positive. I'm optimistic of it. I just hope that there's going to be more of the best fighting the best. But like you said a moment ago, okay. The Mayweather Pacquiao blueprint, it took years for us to see that fight. And when they fought, a lot of people were disappointed. A lot of people were disappointed in that fight because, they said, why didn't they fight when they were both in their prime? You know what I mean? And I think we should see more of that. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we're not. I personally think, okay, you go to UFC, you go to a bare knuckle fighting championship, you go to bare knuckle boxing. That's in Europe, the UK or whatever. Okay, check it out, guys. BKFC, okay, and UFC. Yeah, I got to give them that respect because they have to fight each other, whoever it is. They have to fight. You know what I'm saying? UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you guys watch it too much, but I mean it's combat sports. But UFC, there's only one belt in each division, right?
I believe
there's only
so.
one belt. I think there's just one belt for each division. You don't have sanctioning bodies. You don't have that, and you see more. In UFC, the best fight, the bet. You see it more. You know what I'm saying? You see real tough competition, exciting fights, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, boxing isn't really, we don't see that too much. So, and that's why, UFC, a bare knuckle fighting championship. Yes, I mean, the bare knuckle fighting championship, it's a new sport. It's a new sport. And that thing is gaining traction, man. It's gaining traction because there's exciting fights. It's exciting fights. And when fighters nowadays, boxers, if they fight the best, that's going to bring excitement and it's naturally going to bring in the money. It's going to bring in more money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the same. I don't like to talk about the money. I can care less. Great that they're eating. It's great that the fighters are eating, you know what I'm saying? But, we aren't making any of that money. We're not making any money in those, but we are supporting it. We are the ones supporting that they eat, you know what I'm saying? So we only deserve the best, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm not against them eating, but, at the same time, I'm not the type to talk about, contracts and them making this much and, A side, B side. Oh, he deserves this. Man. And yeah. And it's just, yeah, man. So, hey.
I refuse to talk about it on my channel. I refuse to. The only time I talk about the business side of the sport is when I make shows about how we can fix it, how it should change, and to get on what you're talking about with these diamond belts and these Mayan belts and all these stupid belts that they make, like, just imagine that in other sports. Like, you really think that these guys would accept something like that in another sport? I mean, come on. Like, look, I'm wearing a Michael Jordan jersey. You see this 23? Do you think this guy,
Go.
Do you think this guy right here would accept anything other than the NBA championship?
No.
You think he would accept anything other than the Larry O'Brien trophy? No.
Man.
Not a chance. And neither would Magic, neither would Bird, neither would Creed. None of the greats would.
True talk.
Not one of them would, man. But these guys in boxing, they're happy to do shit like that, and their fans are happy for them. Like man.
Don't forget the franchise championship.
Oh man, I don't want to get started, man. But you know,
man.
It's
Nika,
crazy.
Knockouts with Nika saying the same word. We just want the good fights, definitely. Bruce goes, you have to pay a sanctioning fee for every belt defense. Whoa. So, man, any concluding thoughts? I mean, we can go on. We can go on and on, but you know, time is valuable. You know what I'm saying? And thank you guys so much for everybody. Let me just give a quick shout out to everybody. You know, Sierra F. You know, GFunky, obviously our host, special guest here. Check out a Prophet, Bruce Goes, D Style. You know what I mean? Thank you guys so much for popping in. Thank you guys so much. Knockouts with Nika. Bro, any last words, GFunky? Where to follow you? Subscribe to your channel? How can they find you?
Yeah, just go ahead and subscribe to me. My YouTube channel name is right there in the chat. Subscribe to the channel for some more boxing content. You can find me on Twitter at GFunky84. I'm there also. And you also find me on D-Style Boxing's channel weekly. We do a show called Hispanics Cause a Panic every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel so you can catch us doing our thing every Wednesday. And just want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you to Renee Box Young for having me on, man. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll have more in the future, definitely, man. Definitely. And go subscribe to GFunky84. Go subscribe to D-Style. Go subscribe to Knockouts with Nika. Anybody else here who has any content, go subscribe to each other, man. Go show the love. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much again, GFunky, for being on. Great talks. And, hey, we got to have you on more, man.
Anytime, man. Just let me know. I'm always willing to talk boxing, man. That's why I started this thing, you know?
That's right. Oh, Knockouts with Nika. We're going to be waiting for you too, girl. We're going to be waiting for you too, girl. Hope you get better, man. You'll be all right. All right, man. Thank you guys so much. Renee Box Young. Salute from the South. One love. Shouts from Mexico, family. Peace out, family. One love, guys. Stay safe.